Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see the current affairs of 31st January 2022. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 6 topics which are very much relevant from our UPSC point of view. So let's get started with our discussion and let us have a brief introduction regarding the topics. Now we are going to have our discussion. So first topic it is about show commitment to equity in the budget. Actually recently Inequality Report which mainly published by this Oxfam. So because of this, so what are the steps that we need to take in this budget? So that is the thing which mainly discussed. Actually we are going to focus about that report because till now we didn't discuss that report. And the details of that report that can be used in your mains answer and even in your essay. So this article will be important from your economy point of view which mainly comes under GS paper 3. And next topic it is about Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, the out-of-box thinker. So actually this topic is mainly talking about ideologies of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so because of this, this topic it is important from your history point of view which mainly comes under GS paper 1. And actually this year we are going to celebrate the 75th year of our independence. So this Indian freedom struggle will be the very important topic for this year prelims. And next topic is regarding risky bets. Okay, so this article which is talking about Russia-Ukraine issue. So we are going to discuss that issue. So that will be important from your international relations. And next topic is regarding this for the finance minister to note. So actually this article which is talking about Inequality Report. So because of this inequality which is mainly persistent in India. So what are the steps that can be taken by the government? So that is the thing which mainly discussed. And this is mainly talking about this global corporate minimum tax. Already I discussed this topic in a very great detail. So please do search in our YouTube channel. Then you can find that video. And next topic it is regarding bomb cyclone. So this bomb cyclone which mainly hit eastern US triggers transport chaos. Okay, so here you need to know about some facts regarding this bombogenesis. Actually this article it is important from your geography point of view which mainly comes under GS paper 1. And next topic it is about another BrahMos deal in the pipeline. So this article it is mainly talking about a BrahMos missile. So already we discussed this agreement between India and Philippines regarding this BrahMos missile, right? So please do revise that topic. And this topic is important from your international relations which mainly comes under GS paper 2. So these are the some topics now we are going to have our discussion. And now let us try to start our discussion with a quote. Okay. So it is also one quote which is mainly by famous personality, that is Nelson Mandela. So the quote here is, a winner is a dreamer who never gives up. So if you want to achieve anything, first you have to dream. You have to dream big. Then only that dream will drive you towards to reach your goal. Okay, dreaming it is very important. Without any dreams, and if you want to achieve the goal, means it is like a path without a proper way, right? So here author mainly says that Nelson Mandela says that, so if you want to become a winner, you have to dream big first of all. So you should dream such that you should not give up your hard work till you achieve your dream. So this is one motivation quote I found from this Nelson Mandela, and this will be very apt for UPSC students. And now let us try to discuss the first topic. It is regarding show commitment to equity in the budget. Okay, so here we are going to talk about this Oxfam International's report, that is Inequality Report of 2022 recently released by this Oxfam International. So now this topic is very important regarding to understand how much inequality is present in India. And even we can think about what are the steps that can be taken by the government. So if you're talking about this Inequality Report, recently on January 17th, Oxfam International presented this annual global report, that is Inequality Report. So if you see this image, you can see there are many inequalities which are mainly given in this infographic. So it mainly says that Inequality Kills. Inequality Kills, it is the title of that Inequality Report of 2022 by this Oxfam International. So if you're talking about this report, so report title here is Inequality Kill. Okay, Inequality Kills. So this report mainly calculated and it also presented the quantum growth in wealth of a minuscule few and the simultaneous improvement of millions of working people. Actually, this report which mainly focusing that inequality which is highly persistent in India, especially if you're talking about India. Yes, inequality is highly persistent, and if you want to go towards the growth and development, so we need to focus on this impoverishment of millions of working people. So many people, they are mainly entering into this poverty trap, and due to this COVID-19 also there was much impact that is seen on this poverty. So we need to focus on that. So if we are talking about highlights of that Oxfam's India's Inequality Kills report. So first and the foremost point you need to remember here is magnitude of growing inequalities. So if you're talking about growing inequalities, there is widening of economic, even gender and racial inequalities that is seen across the countries. Across the countries, there is increasing or widening of economic, gender inequality and even racial inequalities. And because of this COVID-19 pandemic, there is increasing of gender inequalities that is mainly seen. And there were a number of reports suggesting that there is increasing of domestic violence against women, and there is increasing of sexual abuse, and there is increasing of cases regarding this POXO as well due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, and if you see regarding this economic inequality, especially the wealth of world's 10 richest men has doubled since pandemic began. Since pandemic began, wealth of this world's 10 richest men had been doubled. And if you're talking about income of 99% of humanity, they were worse because of this COVID-19. So because of this COVID-19, income of this 99% of people that had been affected. And inequality which mainly contributes even to the death of at least one person every 4 seconds. So for every 4 seconds, because of this inequality, that is also leading to the death of at least one out of 4 persons, at least one person in every 4 seconds. Then you can understand so how much impact of this inequality which is mainly showing in the society. So if we are talking about economic violence, okay, so the economic violence had been also increased, right? And this economic violence which is affecting the poor the most than compared to the rich, and even women and as well as girls and even radicalized groups, they are mainly having much impact because of this economic violence. And also we can see there is unequal access to this healthcare. So rich people, they will be having money, right? So they will be going to multi-specialty hospitals like that, especially to have the treatment. If you're talking about poor people, they do not have proper money or sufficient money to access this multi-specialty hospitals, they will be going to this government hospitals. So because of this, what happened? Quality of life. Okay, so actually you know that healthcare it is a good quality and it is like a human right. Okay, so because of this, inequality, that is also having some impact on unequal access to this healthcare. And we can see there is also gender-based violence. Okay, gender-based violence is also evident. So it is mainly rooted in especially in the patriarchal society. Okay, patriarchal society where women will be discriminated, and we can see the dominated role which will be played by the men. And next one is poverty-induced hunger. So hunger, it is one of the ways in which poverty mainly kills, right? So because of this poverty, millions of people, they do not get sufficient amount of the food that mainly required by them. And next one is because of this climate change also, we can see the inequality which is mainly persisting. Okay, why? Because the richest people, they will be using ACs, they will be using luxurious cars, etc., and they will be releasing these greenhouse gases emissions into the atmosphere. So because of this, what happened? So mainly the poor will be affected because of these emissions. And next one is vaccine apartheid. So even in rich countries, even in some developed countries and as well as rich countries, there is a pharmaceutical monopoly that is mainly seen in this business of this vaccines, etc. So, and many developed countries, they are mainly focusing to protect their citizens. And if you're talking about some least developed or we can say like developing countries, they do not have proper technology for manufacturing of these vaccines, and they need to depend upon these developed countries and they can import them. But what happened, these rich countries or developed countries, they are mainly focusing on saving of their citizens, and even they are going for this booster dose. But if you see some countries which are least developed countries, who do not have even the first dose of the vaccine, for example, African countries. And if you're focusing on especially Indian scenario, so we can see there is decline of social security expenditure. So because of this COVID-19 which is continued to ravage India, so the country's healthcare budget which mainly saw about 10% of decline from this revised estimates of 2021 to 2020 to 21. So if you are comparing in this 2020 to 21, so due to this COVID-19 there is decreasing of so there is decline of this revised estimates that is mainly seen, and due to this COVID-19 there is also decreasing of a spending of 6% cut in allocation even in education. So due to this COVID-19 pandemic, what happened? So many schools had been shut down. If you are taking about this government schools especially, so these government schools will also run this midday meals program. So because of the shutting down of the schools, there is no midday meals program as well. So because of this, we can see the overall decreasing of allocation to this education is by 6%. And next one is the budgetary allocation, especially for the social security schemes, also declined from 1.5% of total union budget to 0.6%. And we can also see there is growing inequalities in the country. So if you're talking about this growing inequalities, according to the report, the income of 84% of households in the country which has been declined in this 2021. In 2021 due to this COVID-19, so there is decline of income of 84% of households in the country. Okay, and the number of Indian billionaires, they mainly grew from 102 to 140. That means there is increasing of 40 billionaires in the country. And if you're talking about economic inequalities, especially in India, we can talk about growing rich and as well as growing poor. So if you're talking about growing rich, during this pandemic, the wealth of Indian billionaires which mainly increased from rupees 23.14 lakh crore to 53.16 lakh crore. Okay, there is increasing of income, okay, of this or wealth of this rich people, right? And if you're talking about India, it is having like third highest number of billionaires in world. So first one is US, second one is China, and third one is now India. And we can see there is 39% of increase in the number of billionaires in India in 2021 as well. So this is about growing rich. And if you're talking about growing poor, okay, so more than 4.6 crore Indians, they are estimated to be fallen into this extreme poverty in 2020. So in 2020, so people, 4.6 crore Indians, they went into extreme poverty. And also in this 2020, we can see like share of bottom 50% of people, they will contribute just 6% to this national growth. And even due to this COVID-19 pandemic, there is increasing of unemployment, and that led to uncertainty in the families. And next one is there is also gender parity, right? Women mainly collectively lost about 59.11 lakh crore in earnings in 2020. And 1.3 crore fewer women in the work, they are now in this work. Okay, and if you're talking about fiscal deficit, so because of this COVID-19 which entered into our life, there is increasing of spending from the government. Okay, so because of this there is increasing of fiscal deficit that is also seen. And we can see there is unequal federalism as well. So despite the country's federal structure, the revenue resources remained concentrated in the central hands. Okay, so there is unequal federalism. So due to this COVID-19 pandemic, we studied about different issues regarding the states and as well as center. For example, GST compensation, like that, right? And if you're talking about way forward, so what can be done? So first one is we need to claw back extreme wealth into the real economy to tackle inequality. So what happened whenever the billionaires, they are getting more amount of profits and they are accumulating wealth means, so government need to impose a tax. Okay, government need to impose a tax on this super rich, and they can divert that money for the developmental projects for these poor people. And we need to redirect the wealth to save life, and as well as we need to invest in our future. So all government, they must invest in this evidence based and as well as powerful policies. And finally, we need to save the lives and we need to invest in our future as well. Okay, and next one is we need to change the rules. and we need to shift the power in the economy and as well as society. So here, if you're talking about changing the rules and as well as shifting the power in the economy and society, so we need to come up with some laws, okay, and we need to come up with that laws, and we need to implement those laws properly such that women and as well as children, they need to be prevented from going out of their choice of the jobs. Okay, so this is a gist of this topic, and I hope it is very much clear. And now let us try to talk about next topic. It is regarding our modern history, which is very important, and this topic is very much relevant in this year UPSC, because we are going to celebrate the 75th Independence Day in this year. So Indian freedom struggle will be the one of the important point of focus of this UPSC this year. So if you see title, it mainly says that Mahatma Gandhi, okay, Mahatma Gandhi, the out of the box thinker. So we are going to talk about some ideology of Mahatma Gandhi. So this will be very much important from our UPSC point of view. So if you see this image, you can see our Mahatma Gandhi, father of nation, right? So here this year 2021, the 74th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi's death, okay, 74th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi's death, which mainly provides us an opportunity to think about his character and contribution as an important figure in our world history. So in our world history and modern history, so he was the one of the important personality. So here on this day, we need to recognize, or we need to think about the character and as well as contributions of this Mahatma Gandhi to our nation. So author mainly says that he mainly thinks out of the box, and he was an open-minded, soft reader of concepts and as well as categories. Okay, and because of this, he mainly had place among the weakest and as well as even poorest. So Gandhi is one of the greatest example for simplicity and as well as transparency. Okay, so these are some important things he mainly focused. And if you're talking about ideology of this Mahatma Gandhi, so first and the foremost thing that will come into your mind is non-violence. Okay, he mainly asked to go for non-violence to achieve this independence. But on the other case, if you're talking about Subhash Chandra Bose, he mainly believed violence to get this independence. So in this way, we can see there is some ideological conflict between this Mahatma Gandhi and as well as Subhash Chandra Bose. So if we're talking about non-violence, that means we need to practice non-violence during this national movement, and it mainly contributed of a temper of democracy in the country. So because of non-violence, we can go for discussions, debates, persuasion, okay, which mainly backed up by the public opinion. Okay, so this is the thing which mainly emphasized by Mahatma Gandhi. So apart from this, he also focused on satyagraha. So satyagraha, he mainly believed this power of truth, and as well as he mainly believed this power of truth to search for the need to search for the truth here. Okay, he mainly suggested that if the cause was true, that the struggle was against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight against oppressor. So whenever we are mainly fighting, okay, fighting for the cause of true here, so when this struggle, then there is no need of using of this violence. So we can go for using of non-violence. So this is the one important ideology which is mainly set by this Mahatma Gandhi. So apart from that, he mainly focused on this local self-government, that is decentralization and as well as grassroots representation. Okay, so he mainly laid for this decentralization of power. For example, I can say like local self-government. Okay, so after that, after we got democracy, okay, it mainly brought the democracy at the grassroots level, and finally it mainly focused on this Panchayat Raj institutions. And if you're talking about religion, so regarding religion, Gandhi's idea which is mainly based on communal harmony. So when you are having this communal harmony, that will mainly pave the way for secular character, okay, of Indian democracy. And he also believed that the religion was a personal practice, and this was reflected in the separation of Indian political structure from religion, which defined secularism for the society. So if we're talking about the ideology of Gandhi regarding religion was, so he mainly focused on communal harmony. So whenever there is a communal harmony, that means the community which is mainly together, then we can represent the secular character of our Indian society or Indian democracy. Because already you know that India, it is united in diversity. We can see different religions people, different caste people, they are living together. and he also focused on social empowerment, and as well as he mainly focused on especially marginalized communities. Okay, and he mainly opposed this inequality, discrimination, oppression based on gender and as well as caste. And he also came up with the concept of Sarvodaya. Okay, Sarvodaya mainly incorporated the social liberation of women and as well as lower caste through opposition to child marriage and as well as abolition of untouchability. And next one is racism. So Gandhiji's resistance did not only become a significant part of Indian independence struggle, but he also played an important role even in the South African struggle against this apartheid. So before Gandhiji came to India in 1915, so he also worked against this racism or apartheid in even South Africa. Okay, so there are many stories that you can come across as Mahatma Gandhi when you are reading the spectrum and as well as Bipin Chandra, and those stories are very important. Okay, so now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding risky bets. So actually this article which mainly talking about Russia-Ukraine issues. So this article is important from international relations which mainly comes under GS paper 2, and this topic is at most important. And now first let us try to see the map. Here we have Russia and here we have Ukraine. So this part which is under controlled by the separatists. So Ukraine says that these are the people who are pro-Russia. And actually you can see this brown color part, that is Crimea. So this Crimea already annexed by this Russia in 2014 because it want to come into access to this Black Sea, right? So now let us try to discuss this topic in a very great detail. So what is the issue here? So recently US and as well as NATO forces and Ukraine officials, they had been making statements, okay, regarding this unusual troop movement in the proximity of Ukraine. Okay, so there is increasing of Russian troops across this border, that is Ukraine. So if we are talking about causes, so causes here is, I will be listing you 4 or 5 causes that will be very important. So please try to make a note. So first and the foremost cause here is the balance of power. So whenever this Ukraine split mainly happened, okay, from the Soviet Union, both Russia and the West, they had viewed for greater influence in the country in order to keep the balance of power in the region in their favor. So after once Ukraine's split happened from this Soviet Union, so at that time onwards, Russia and as well as West, they want to control or they want to show their greater influence in this region because it will be helpful for this balance of power. So because of this, there might be the issue that is mainly happening now. And next one is buffer zone for this Western countries. So for US and as well as European Union, Ukraine, it is the essential and the crucial buffer that mainly acts between this Russia and as well as West here. So because of this tensions which are mainly rising, US and as well as European Union, they are mainly determined to keep this Ukraine away from this Russian control. So because of this, that led to conflict. And this one is, if you're talking about Black Sea, Russia is having the many interest in this Black Sea. Because this Black Sea region, it is one of the several geopolitical advantages. So it will provide some geopolitical advantages. So what are those advantages? So because of this Russia, which is mainly having some sea access, but that sea access will be in the ice most of the times in the winter season. So there is nothing like a sea route which is present, and it can use this Black Sea. Okay, so it is one of the important crossroads and as well as strategic intersection of entire region. And if the Russia having the access to this Black Sea, it is a very important for the Editorial and as well as neighboring states as well. And next one is the region which is an important transit corridor for the goods and energy as well. So because of this, Russia is having interest in this Black Sea. And if you are talking about protest in Ukraine, so there is a one famous movement that is mainly going on, that is Maiden movement. So Maiden means nothing but European Square. Okay, it was a way which mainly demonstrate the civil unrest in Ukraine. So in this Maiden movement, we can see there is a civil unrest which is mainly shown by this Ukrainian people. Okay, and actually these protests which mainly sparked by this Ukrainian government decision to suspend the signing of an association agreement with the European Union. Okay, and if you're talking about separatist movement, so this area, that is Donbass area, which is mainly located in the eastern part of the Ukraine, which has been facing a Russian separatist movement that has happened since 2014 onwards. But according to this Ukrainian government, the movement is actively supported. Okay, this movement which is mainly actively supported by the Russian government as well as Russian paramilitaries. So this is one of the allegations that is mainly made by the Ukraine. So if we're talking about what are the agreements that we can see in this Russia and Ukraine, here is two agreements. The first one is Minsk 1 and second one is Minsk 2. So here you can get a question like recently Minsk 1 and Minsk 2 is seen recently in news. So what it is related to? It is regarding the agreements between Ukraine and as well as Russia. So first agreement, that is Minsk 1 agreement, which is mainly between Ukraine and as well as Russia backed separatists. It is between Ukraine and as well as Russian backed separatists. They agreed a 12-point ceasefire deal in the capital of Belarus in September. Okay, so Ukraine and as well as Russian backed separatists, they agreed a 12-point ceasefire deal in the capital of Belarus in September 2014, and its provisions included like prison exchanges, like deliveries of humanitarian and withdrawal of heavy weapons as well. So these are some important highlights regarding this Minsk 1. And this agreement which mainly quickly broke it, and there was some violence that is mainly seen. After that they came up with the second agreement, that is Minsk 2. So Minsk 2 agreement which mainly came up in year 2015, and it mainly talking about an open conflict. Okay, it mainly talking about an open conflict was averted after this Minsk 2 peace agreement which was signed. Okay, under the members of France and as well as Germany, we came up with this agreement. And this Minsk 2 agreement which also designated or designed to end the fighting in the rebel regions, and as well as they mainly handed over the border to the Ukraine national troops, etc. So these are some important details regarding this agreement. So what is the current situation which is going on? So current situation here is Russia mainly seeking assurances from the US and as well as Ukraine that it will not inducted into this NATO. But one cause of concern here is US is not prepared to give any such assurance here. Okay, so here Russia mainly wants assurance that US should not include this Ukraine into this NATO. Okay, because whenever any country which is becoming the part of NATO means, so in that NATO there was a one clause like, so if any country which is acting against any country means it will be similar like, so all these countries who are part of this NATO, they need to act against that. So because of this, here Russia do not want to include this Ukraine in this NATO, but this assurance which is not given by this US. Okay, and this had left the countries in a standoff with tens of thousands of Russian troops ready to invade this Ukraine now. So Russia, which is mainly keeping the tensions high at the Ukraine border, okay, in order to get the sanctions relief and as well as other concessions from the West. Okay, so Russia is also increasing its tensions in this Ukraine border such that it can get some concessions from this countries from this West. Okay, so this is at a present context. And what is the thing, what can be done? So if we're talking about way forward, a practical solution for this situation can be revived. Okay, so we can go for reviving of this Minsk peace process. Okay, therefore the West, that is US and other Western countries, they should push both sides on resuming the talks, and they need to go for live up to their commitments as per this Minsk agreement, and they need to finally come up with the restoration of the relations. So this is a gist of this topic, and I hope it is very much clear. Now let us try to see next topic. Title says, for the finance minister to note. Actually, this article which is talking about there is increasing of inequality in India. So what can be the step that can be taken by our government, especially regarding finance minister? So this article is mainly talking about global minimum tax. Global minimum tax. So it is regarding corporate tax. So what is this corporate tax? For example, I had a company. I had a manufacturing unit. So from that manufacturing unit, I am getting that profit. So based on the profit, I need to pay some amount as a tax to government, that is called as corporate tax. So if you're talking about taxes, we will be having two types of taxes, that is direct tax and as well as indirect tax. So this corporate tax, it is one of the examples of this direct tax. But to evade the tax, whatever the profit I am getting, I am showing that I am mainly providing that profit to a trust. So because of this, I am evading the taxes to this government. So because of this, what happened, the revenue of this government will be decreasing. Okay, but from the government side there is increasing of expenditure because of this COVID-19 pandemic, and it need to pay some interest or debt. So because of this, what happened, there is increasing of this fiscal deficit. So because of this, here this article, an author mainly says that mainly to evade this tax evasion, so compulsorily here government need to implement this global minimum tax such that that will be increasing the income for the government, and that can helpful for decreasing this fiscal deficit. So this is some basic idea behind this topic. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So recently World's Inequality Report 2022 released, right? And this report says that there is high levels of inequality that is seen in the countries. So if you are talking about how much inequality that is present, bottom 50% of population, they will earn rupees 53,610, and if you see top 10%, they will earn into 20 times more than that. So here top 10% and top 1% of population, they hold about 57% of national income, and top 1% they will be having 22% of national income. But if you are talking about bottom 50, they hold just 13%. Now you can see top 10% they will be having 57% of national income, and top 1% they will be having 22% of national income, but the bottom 50% they will hold just 13% of national income. So there is high levels of inequality that is mainly seen. So one more important cause of concern here is nation have become richer but governments are becoming poor because of there is much amount of the wealth is concentrated in this private sector. Okay, so the totality of wealth, it is in the private hands. So because of this, government is mainly becoming poor, but the nations are becoming very rich. So not only this, even there are many companies, they are mainly going for tax exemption and as well as tax deductions are mainly going on. So because of this, our finance minister need to come up with some steps. Already our finance minister who took some steps, that is about this twin system of tax rates. Twin system of tax rates, especially for the companies who are claiming these deductions and who are not claiming these deductions. So if you are talking about this twin system of taxes, so domestic companies which are mainly charged 25% when their total turnover it is less than 250 crores, okay, and if their turnover it is more than 250 crores, they need to pay 30% of tax. Okay, so whenever we are going for deductions means if they are less than 250 crores means they need to pay 25%, and if it is more than 250 crores means they need to pay 30%. So here there is a 5% of deduction that is seen. So because of this decline of this corporate tax rates, that will also have some impact in regarding this government revenue. Government revenue will be decreased, right? This is one cause of concern, and it mainly erodes this progressive nature of tax system. So progressive means when we are getting high amounts of profits, we need to pay high amount of taxes to the government. Okay, and here not only this, even some high income individuals, they mainly choose to incorporate their business so that they can shift their corporate income towards this personal income tax. And not only this, many people who are mainly want to evade the tax, and they are mainly going through this private trust, and assets are transferred to this trust. So in this context, what is the way forward? Government has already prepared to introduce this global minimum corporate tax on these immense multinational companies, and this step which mainly agreed by even 130 countries in 2021 itself, and the minimum tax rate that mainly fixed here is 15% of a tax. So here whenever we are also going for implementing of this global minimum tax of 15% on these MNCs, we can get like deductions of 0.5% for India without any deductions. So because of this, we can get our income such that we can address this fiscal deficit issue. So this is the gist of this topic, and I hope it is very much clear. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding bomb cyclone. Bomb cyclone hits eastern US triggers transport chaos outrages. So here you need to understand what is this bomb cyclone, and here you need to know about what is this bombogenesis. So this will be important from your GS paper 1 under geography. So now let us try to see context. So if you see context, it mainly says that the National Weather Service which mainly confirmed that snow had intensified into bomb cyclone. Okay, snow intensified into this bomb cyclone in eastern US. So what is this bomb cyclone? Bomb cyclone is nothing but simply I can say it is like a type of a storm. Okay, and these storms which mainly develop during this winter time over the ocean or regarding the coast of these oceans. And especially we can see this bomb cyclone in temperate latitudes, and it will be strengthening very much fast with atmospheric its center which is mainly dropping swiftly. So and finally that will leads to this bombogenesis. So we're talking about bombogenesis. It is a combination of cyclogenesis. How these cyclones are formed? For example, we can see low pressure area which is created. So because of this low pressure area will be created, the air present and the moisture which is present, that will be heated up and that will be rise up and forming the clouds. Okay, and they will be moving, and the wind from the high pressure area which is mainly coming and occupying this low pressure area, and because of this Coriolis force it will be tilted towards right side in the northern hemisphere, it is tilted towards left in southern hemisphere. So in this way these cyclones which are mainly formed, and this bombogenesis which is mainly formed because of colliding of cold air mass with this warm air mass. Okay, so this can be happens when this cold air mass which mainly collides with this warm air mass. And next one is it mainly occurs in the mid latitudes, and cyclones rapidly intensifies and dropping at least 24 millibars over 24 hours. And this bombogenesis is one of the common phenomena that mainly seen on this Pacific Ocean region. And even sometimes we can see this bombogenesis will be happen even in Atlantic coastline, but it is not much common. So this is just of this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding another BrahMos deal in the pipeline. So actually recently we know that between India and Philippines we came up with a deal of $375 million deal for this BrahMos supersonic missile, and we already discussed about some facts regarding this BrahMos missile in our last 2 days, right? And now there is also another long pending deal which is also come under discussion regarding this BrahMos missiles for Philippines army here. So because of this we can see there will be the good relationship between India and Philippines in near future. So you can read this article and you have to revise about some facts regarding this BrahMos. And next topic is regarding North Korea test fires most powerful missiles since 2017. Since 2017 onwards, here North Korea which is mainly going for testing of these missiles. So already you know that here this North Korea under this FATF Financial Action Task Force is already present in the blacklist. So even though many countries are imposing sanctions on this North Korea, they are going for this test firing of this missiles. So here you can understand the dareness of this North Korea, and you can revise this FATF blacklist etc. That will be very much important. And now let us try to see today's questions. So first one is, at the time of British rule in India, direct elections, they were for the first time incorporated in which law? So it is by this Indian Council Act of 1909, that is Minto-Morley reforms. So this Minto-Morley reforms which mainly introduced this direct elections for the first time, right? And next question is regarding Government of India Act of 1990, that is Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. So here the first one is it introduced diarchy, but here it does not introduce a diarchy at the center, and it came up with the separated for the first time provincial budget from the central budget. Yes, actually it came with the for the first time the provincial budget which is mainly separated from the central budget to this Government of India Act of 1919. Okay, and next one is it also introduced a separate representation for the Muslim community and sowed the seeds of separatism. Actually it made it done through this 1909 Act but not 1919. So this also incorrect. Next one is it introduced provincial autonomy, but what happened, it does not introduce provincial autonomy, but through this Government of India Act of 1919, which mainly relaxed this central control over these provinces, and it also came up with demarcating and separating of the central and the provincial subject. Okay, so because of this statement is also incorrect. So correct option will be 1, 2 only. And now let us try to see today's questions. So before saying this today's questions, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. If you want to clear this UPSC, I will strongly suggest you to join this prelims test series and as well as mains answer writing course that we are offering in our Rathod's IAS. So in this prelims test series, we are mainly giving this 30 test, which includes both CSAT and also your GS, and this will be exclusively useful. Okay, exclusively useful. And next, one thing you need to remember here is, if you want to see your name in final list, please keep in your mind you have to start focusing on answer writing. So here in this Rathod's IAS, we are providing 1 year long program of this mains answer writing course, and in this course especially we are focusing on mains answer writing skills. We will be giving you weekly targets. So we will be giving you small weekly targets such that we can complete our entire GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 within 1 year time frame. So please trust me, and if you follow my words and if you will be under guidance of me, I will be ensuring that within 1 year you are going to complete entire GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 along with that current affairs regarding this mains answer writing practice. And finally, I will assure you that you are going to excel this answer writing skills for sure. So I will be sharing number of types and what are the some important things that you need to follow to excel this mains answer writing in this course. So we will be giving you weekly targets like 2 to 3 chapters every week, such that you will be reading them and you will be writing answer. Daily one question will be given, and on Sunday there will be essay or case study. And what are the highlights? Highlights is we are going to evaluate your papers and we will be giving you model answer, and there will be one-to-one mentorship here. And we are going to complete our entire GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 along with 27 essays and 26 case studies within 1 year. So this will be having an immense support to your prelims, UPSC mains, and this will be helpful especially to clear your UPSC mains. And one more thing here is, prelims it is just qualifying, and interview will be not there in your hands. So the only thing that will be there in your hands is mains. So you have to excel this mains such that you can clear your examination very easy, right? And the new batch for this mains answer writing course, it is going to be started from tomorrow. So registration already been opened. So please try to join these courses and hurry up. This will be very useful. You are going to pay just 7,200 for me for 1 year. It is my responsibility to improve your answer writing skills, right? And apart from that, we also launched this foundational course for UPSC CSA GS 2023. You can join that course. It will be absolutely very useful, and we are focusing on this conceptual clarity, and we are discussing each and every topic that is present in your syllabus, and there will be like one-to-one mentorship, and even PDFs of that class notes will be given. And if you want to take individual courses like geography, history, economy, science and technology, disaster management, environment and ecology, so they are ready, so you can take those classes. That will be very helpful. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call to this number 8074765513, and I am the academic director of this Rathod's IAS, and you can trust us 100%. Okay. And if you want to download this Rathod's IAS app, link is also given in the description box. You can download that. And now let us try to see today's questions. So first question is regarding objective resolution. Objective resolution presented by Jawaharlal Nehru in December 1946. It is an historic event in making of the constitution. So what this resolution contain? So option A is abolition of communal electorate. Second one is composition of constituent assembly. Third one is fundamentals and philosophy of constitutional structure. And fourth one is ratified India's membership of this Commonwealth. Okay, so you can select the correct option. And next one is democratic polity is based on doctrine of popular sovereignty with regard to this principle. So consider the following, that is plebiscite, referendum, recall, initiative. So which are the above are used in direct democracy? So this question is very easy, and try to answer these two questions and let me know your answers in comment box. So there is no negative marking. So this will boost your confidence. So by this I am concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll to these courses. Okay. So the details are given in description box, and if you want to watch the demo videos, visit our website and there you can watch 3 videos without paying a single penny. Okay. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much.